Like, Pikachu was not originally the Pikachu that we know and love today, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the original pixel work and the original animations, it's like this very chubby, like big mouse-like looking Pokemon.
Yeah, Pikachu went on Ozempic before it was a thing.
I tried to redirect the conversation. It was not very effective. Justin.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon Go to the polls. Geoff, and welcome
to Bands. Geoff, happy Sunday. Happy weekend.
Sunday.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm relaxing. I'm vibing. I'm so excited about our topic today, but before we get into that, I need to ask you, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I've had a good weekend. Brandy is on the West Coast this weekend. She's doing a big relay. So I have been single parenting Ellie and Franklin and Mochi here today, or this weekend.
Single parenting?
Yes.
Do you like that life?
It's not terrible. Luckily they are dogs and not actual children, so much easier to deal with.
What about Mochi, who's a cat?
Even easier to deal with. He's easy.
I would agree.
Right now he's looking at me ominously from the kitchen table. Looks like he's about to knock something over, so who knows?
Are you really one of those people who lets your cat up on the kitchen table?
What am I supposed to do? Go over there and knock him off? I don't like him when he's up there, but sometimes he just goes up there. If I was eating, he would not be allowed up there.
Justin, remind me to never eat in your home.
Okay.
You're nasty. You're nasty.
I saw a movie with our friend Ben last night. We went and saw Cuckoo with Hunter Schafer.
How was it? Because I've heard a lot of discourse about it.
You heard discourse?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it was like not that deep of a movie. That's basically my take. Like, it was a very pretty movie. Aesthetically, it was gorgeous.
Love.
But in terms of like...
By all accounts, Hunter Schafer is great.
Hunter Schafer is absolutely the highlight of the film. Like, her performance is great. She's kind of like the token American in like a European setting, which I always find really funny. She's like a truth teller saying it how it is, and all the Europeans are like, oh, stop being so rude or whatever, you know.
Wait, where in Europe does this take place?
Germany, in the Alps,
I find that interesting that it's like Americans are being rude, because I have found in my limited travels, but my vast exposure to international students in college, that Europeans generally, especially those from the Nordic countries, are perceived as rude, but they're absolutely honest to a fault.
One of the main antagonists, played by Dan Stevens in this film, is a German man. And he is constantly like using his professionalism and his like courtesy as like a tool to mask his like evil motives in the movie, right? So I think that's like something that it's trying to say. Not that it's that deep. It's very like low budget horror. It was fun.
Love.
But I don't think thematically it was doing anything that was like particularly crazy. It wasn't as good as something like Long Legs, in my opinion, but it was still worth a watch if you're into that kind of movie.
Oh, but it seems I'm wearing my long legs today.
It was less funny than Long Legs. Like, I think it was taking itself very seriously, even though it's not a very serious movie, which is not a very good combination.
Yes, that's exactly what I heard. I heard that a lot of people thought that it was like trying to be deeper than it really was.
Yeah, I don't think it was necessarily trying to be deep, but the tone was very serious, even though the subject matter was not very serious, you know?
Okay.
That being said, Hunter Schafer, excellent performance. Her fit during the movie, incredible. She looked like an anime hero. She was wearing this like blue bomber jacket that was always like hanging off one shoulder because she had injured her arm in the film. And she was wearing like this very cool like mecha bracing her arm, and had like a head injury. So her head was like wrapped up in gauze. So like very cool outfit. But
I love that.
It would be a great Halloween costume or something like that.
Oh, I bet it's going to be a popular Halloween costume.
I would love it if that were the case, but...
what are you going to be for Halloween?
I haven't put too much thought into it.
Why not?
Because we still got a couple months, and...
Not really. It's the end of August, bruh.
It's by definition, a couple months. 2 months from now will be Halloween.
Point for you.
I'm thinking about maybe being Bando Stone, like the character that Donald Glover is on the cover, because it's a very distinctive look. He's got the Spam hat with like a tropical shirt and like swim shorts. So I was thinking about doing that, but I haven't really put too much thought into it.
Justin, you know, I'm going to once again shoot down your blackface costume idea for Halloween. You cannot do it. I've We've talked about it several times. It's really not okay. It's 2024.
I never said anything about blackface. I'm just wearing the spam hat. Just the spam hat.
Okay. I think the listeners know who we're dealing with here.
I hope the listeners do.
You know what? Speaking of anime heroes, we have such a great topic today. It's a main topic today. But I think we should get into hot topics because there's a lot of stuff that went on this week that we gotta talk about.
Let's get into some hot topics.
Hot topics. Extra long sizzle there.
I'll add some extra sizzle in post.
Love it.
Let's talk about something that we have been on top of since the very early days of Bants, which is the relationship between Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez.
Oh,
Geoff,
my goodness.
have you heard the news?
Well, you know that I have. You know that I have. Who saw this coming by show of hands? Listeners, we're both raising our hands right now. High into the sky.
Yeah, I am not surprised by this news that Ben Affleck and J-Lo have officially filed for divorce.
No. Who would be, you know? Do you saw that the way that they interacted together at award shows when the paparazzi were shooting them in their car arguing outside of Dunkin' Donuts, which is Ben Affleck's church, his place of worship?
Yeah.
Arguing outside the Dunkin'?
That's how I knew it was bad. Yeah.
Things are going downhill if you're arguing outside the Dunkin'. Things are really in a bad place.
I feel like a Dunkin' sometimes is the place to argue, though. It's a specific Massachusetts. It is both a place of worship and a place to have it out. You know what I mean?
Well, as someone who's not from Massachusetts, I can't say that I know this to be true, but I believe you.
How many times have you been in a Dunkin' Donuts and the vibe is just off?
Every time. Let me tell you a quick story.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
Quick aside here. I think I told you this story a long time ago, but I went on a terrible date when I was in college.
The story. Yes.
To Dunkin' Donuts. I was talking to this guy online. He seemed very normal. I was at college, and my college was across the street from another college. He said that he went there. He was very close, proximity-wise, on the grid, if you will. We decided to meet up for a date. We were going to go to Starbucks. That's what I suggested. He said, I don't really like Starbucks, but I love Dunkin'. Would that be okay?
A red flag.
Looking back, I knew it was a red flag, but
Not a date spot.
No, a date spot. That fuchsia and orange and the brown.
How old were you all, by the way, when this happened?
I think I was like 19.
Okay, so like that maybe makes it a little bit better. Like, you're 19 years old.
Young,
it's fine,
uninformed,
I guess. Very young,
inexperienced. Very young. I don't know what's going on out in the wide world. I still don't.
Who does?
But I said sure. Dunkin' would be just fine. Even though I hate Dunkin' Donuts, I think their coffee tastes like... have you ever seen an ashtray sitting outside after a rainstorm? I think that's what they use to make their coffee. I think they just gather it all up. They go to across back porches in America and pick up ashtrays and strain it right in their little bags. That's what they use for their iced coffee. I'm pretty sure of it.
It's like a guilty pleasure for me, for sure. I do love the Dunkin' coffee despite myself. You were saying?
I just was momentarily repulsed by you. So we went to Dunkin' Donuts. Now, the man in the photos, I would say, was an attractive man of, 5'10", 5'11". Blonde, blue eyes, quite attractive, conventionally. The man who walked into Dunkin' Donuts was nothing of the sort. He was approximately 5'6", and there's nothing wrong with the short king, trust and believe. Mm-hmm. But this was not what I was expecting. He also had brown hair, brown eyes, scruffy, and looks like I would say similar to Gollum.
So this was like a full catfish situation?
Fully catfished.
Okay.
And again, I was 19. I hadn't yet found my voice, I was still a little bit shy. I wasn't exactly sure how to navigate leaving this date in a way that wouldn't completely embarrass him, but I was obviously
at a Dunkin' Donuts.
At a Dunkin'. So this man sat down, and I was like, hello, you don't look like Charles. And he's like, he proceeds to tell me that the photos that he used on his profile were his cousin, who he had also had sexual interaction with in the past. And that's how he realized he was gay, and he was closeted, which is why he was using his cousin's photo He did not go to the school that he said he did. He just happened to live nearby. Then he pulled out his phone and said, "Can I show you something?" And I was like, okay. He showed me a video of himself dancing to rave music alone in the dark. What's that about?
Geoff, I wish I could tell you. I do not know.
I didn't either, but I knew that meant it was time to go, so I ski-daddled away.
The gay dating scene was this in New London or Groton?
Yeah, New London.
Yeah. I feel like dating scene in New London, Groton area for
Trash.
gay men must be pretty dark. I mean, for
Trash.
everybody, but especially for the gays.
Well, it's great if you want to get married at, 20 and become a Navy wife, then it's pretty great. Or Navy husband.
A lot of options there for you, yeah.
Lots of Navy husbands, lots of Navy wives here. I'll say that. So it's great if that's what you're looking for.
Speaking of husbands and wives and early divorce,
yes.
Ben Affleck and J-Lo.
Who?
Was who we were first talking about here. Yeah, I feel a little bit like when you turn like 22 and you first see your parents as like actual human beings instead of like infallible objects, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, these two people are just being idiots.
Yep.
I don't really know why they got back together in the first place, to be honest with you, but...
You know, I kind of think that they were just riding the wave of like nostalgia core that was like happening a few years ago.
Why do you need to legally get married again is my question.
Well, I kind of think that they've both been in like a 10-year midlife crisis type of thing. Like it just seems to not really be no end in sight.
I guess Ben Affleck did recently go through rehab and came out and seems like he's been clean more or less since he exited rehab. So maybe he thought it was like turning over a new leaf type of situation.
Yeah.
And J-Lo was kind of the one that got away and he decided to go for her. Maybe that's what happened.
That could definitely be.
I'm wishing them both the best.
Wishing you healing during this difficult time.
Yeah, it can't be easy to go through such a high-profile divorce with the same person again.
They were married before?
I thought so. I thought
I
this
don't
was
really
the second
remember,
divorce.
to be honest with you. I mean, nothing would surprise me.
Let me check.
I know he was definitely married to Jennifer Garner.
Oh, so he was not married to J-Lo.
Okay.
Correction.
So maybe that's part of why they got married this time. They're like, this time it's for real. The one that got away... Play the one that got away by Katy Perry.
Nope, I'm going to bleep out the S word because we don't want to activate anybody's
no.
AI partner.
Oh, no. I forgot about that. Good luck to Jen and Ben. Curious to see what J-Lo does next. You think she'll do another documentary about this divorce specifically?
Funny enough, I feel like on social media, I've seen more of an upswell in popularity of J-Lo now that this divorce is happening, which is so bizarre. I don't really know why or how this is happening, but I do feel like I think it's just like sympathy, I guess, for going through this process. But
I also think J-Lo's gotten like Falloned by Blake Lively and like the groundswell of hatred coming her way. And now they're like, J-Lo's all right.
Turns out J-Lo's okay, I guess.
You ever have an argument with a really good friend? Like you ever mad at a friend and it's just like simmering for a while, and then you have like a full tilt argument with them, and then you just feel better about it afterwards, and you're like, yeah, okay, I'm not mad at them anymore.
Well, you just gotta communicate your feelings sometimes, yeah. So yes is my answer, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're not better than me.
Okay. Another hot topic from this week was this post that Chapel Roan posted on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of these?
Yes, I certainly have. You know what? I love Chapel Roan, and I love that she's like great about having firm boundaries, and she's unafraid of communicating them broadly. And I also love that she like doesn't really do media training, and she's just like kind of unfiltered. I think it's kind of great.
Yeah, so for those who maybe haven't seen the posts, as a recap, this began when Chapel posted a TikTok video where, and I'm paraphrasing
a TikTok video? How old are you? Yeah, I shot in
some TikToks are just
video.
Like, excuse my voice, I'm having some congestion today. When I say that, some TikToks are literally just like slides now. You can just like scroll through them and like music is playing in the background, which I don't understand. But
okay, boomer.
It was a selfie video of Chapel, and she was basically talking about how, paraphrasing, it's bizarre being famous because like you'll just be walking around and people will be like screaming at you from cars and asking you to take a picture while you're going about your daily life. And she was like, that's weird, and I don't really like dealing with that. You gotta chill, basically. It was, and I'm heavily paraphrasing. This was followed by her posting like a notes app post on Instagram, like a multi-slide notes app post. And I will quote a little bit from there now. Okay, so quote, when I'm on stage, when I'm performing, when I'm in drag, when I'm at a work event, when I'm doing press, I am at work. Any other circumstance, I am not in work mode. I am clocked out. I don't agree with the notion that I owe a mutual exchange of energy, time, or attention to people I do not know, do not trust, or who creep me out, just because they're expressing admiration. Women do not owe you a reason why they don't want to be touched or talked to. This has nothing to do with the gratitude and love I feel for my community, for the people who respect my boundaries, and has stuck with me to help the project get to where it is now. So that's just one slide of like 6 that she posted on this topic.
Good for her.
Yeah, so you're approving of this.
Yeah, of course.
I have seen some responses to this for context that where it's like, aren't you trying to be famous? Isn't this what comes with fame?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that, but just because something is a certain way doesn't mean it has to always be that way. We don't have to have the same kind of fame where people are like obsessed and following you. And it's weird now too, because with the advent of social media, what's different about it now, especially with somebody who is as unfiltered and real as Chapel Roan is, people really feel that they know her and they have these super bizarre parasocial relationships. And we all know that, like, with so many people having untreated, unregulated mental health issues, like, that can become quickly distorted. And people might think that they're, like, actually friends with this person, or that this person is one of the only people who gets them, when they really don't even know that you exist. So I think it's fine that she's like, I don't want all this, like, don't shout my name, don't try to ask me for photos and all that stuff, when she's just like living her life like at Target, or like in her hometown visiting her family, or like out to eat with her family at a restaurant or something. I do think it's weird that people like want to do that. I understand the rationale, but we got to leave people alone.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And this is like so refreshing to hear from a celebrity, because I think that part of the reason why this mindset is so popular is that this is how people make money, right? Like, a lot of artists take advantage of this feeling of like a parasocial relationship.
Yep.
Their fans will like buy every piece of merch that you put out.
Right.
Buy every single, listen to every song, and like post comments about how you're the best on every other artist's social media account, right?
The stans.
Right. This is stan culture, as we've discussed in the past. Like, this is how that type of culture is promoted, is through these odd parasocial relationships and making people feel like they're friends with you, even though they don't know who you are.
Yeah.
So it's really refreshing to me. Like, that has always been icky to me. And it's really refreshing to me to hear somebody be like, listen, I do give a lot of myself to you all, and like, this is my job, and I do care about that, but I can't give 100% of me to you all of the time. Like,
yeah.
We need to set boundaries.
Then there's nothing left for yourself and your loved ones.
I don't think anybody has really said that in the same way that Chapel is saying that. Like, at least not somebody who's at the same level of fame.
Not a celebrity, yeah. I mean, like, I think I love that she, like, used the term clocked out. Like, if I'm not doing these things, I'm not on the clock. Meaning, like, I'm not working. That version of me does not exist between this time and this time. Because that's how I feel about work. It's like, I'm here to work, and then when I'm home and living my life. Like, so why shouldn't celebrities do the same thing? They should get that right.
Well, yeah, I think the perception is like, you're living your dream. Aren't you passionate about this? Like, isn't this what you want? And I think the answer is no. Like, it doesn't have to be this way. And it's actually, in this new era of parasociality, very different. It's actually a relatively new phenomenon that this type of thing happens, I think. Like, I remember, I hate that I keep bringing up Search Engine, but there's a great episode of Search Engine.
You're obsessed. You love Search Engine. You really want to be on their pod.
There's a lot of great episodes of that pod. And one is, how do you survive being a child star? And the PJ Vogt, the host of Search Engine, interviewed Molly Ringwald.
Love Molly Ringwald.
She was basically like, she's like one of the most well-adjusted child stars ever, I think. Basically, she just fucked off to France. And nobody recognized her there. Like, people were very normal to her there because social media, globalization of the media had not really happened yet.
Exactly. So I was just going to say that.
This is really a new phenomenon. So it's really nice to hear somebody talking about it. especially when you see so many other artists. And this includes a lot of our favorite artists, like Charlie, for example, like Charlie also does this. There's a lot of Charlie stans. Taylor Swift does this. I think is probably maybe one of the most well-known people in terms of how her fans think of her as like a friend or as giving their internal feelings a voice in the world.
Right.
A lot of people believe. So yeah, it is really refreshing. And I think it's not a coincidence that this happened with somebody whose rise has been so fast. Like, she has gone from obscurity to like worldwide fame in the matter of like 3 months, I would say.
Yeah, it's pretty wild how quickly it happened. And it is a new thing. So while Molly Ringwald had that option to like go to a country where like she wasn't known, that's not ever going to be the case for like especially musical artists who's like up and coming right now, because like once your stuff is out there, it's out there for the entire world to consume forever. There's like lots of artists who like, I mean, Chappell Roan's actually a great example of this herself. She put her album out last year, almost a year ago now.
Yep.
And just in the last like 3 months, 4 months, she's like really blown up and become like a worldwide phenomenon. A feminine phenomenon.
It was right there.
It was right there. Low-hanging fruit. Artists like her won't have that ability, and so I think it's really great that she's kind of laying this out now, early in her career, that this is what her expectation is. It's like, don't fucking bother me when I'm not Chappell Roan, capital C, capital R.
I know that we are a podcast who often talks about celebrity culture and about media and about actors and musicians. I will say, these people are not your friends. Like,
No.
don't get it twisted. Like, politicians are not your friends. Actors are not your friends. Musicians are not your friends. If they try to say that they are your friend, it is for a purpose. They're trying to activate you to either buy something or vote for somebody, etc., So just always keep that in mind. Like, if you have not personally met somebody, even if you have personally met somebody, they're probably not your friend. Like, know who your friends are, Don't have these weird parasocial relationships.
It's really tough. I feel bad for people who, like, this is all that they really know. Like, they didn't grow up in a pre-internet world, so I wonder how different their perspective is on something like this than, like, us who, like, did grow up in a pre-internet world, did grow up, like, pre-social media. Like, most of our formative years were before social media was really a thing, so I'm curious how it feels for people of other generations.
Yeah, it's also difficult because I think that a lot of people's actual friendships and relationships now are mediated by social media
Very
and
much.
online interaction. So the boundary gets even thinner there between like interacting with a celebrity or somebody who you're a fan of and then interacting with your actual friends,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people probably who have friends in this day and age who they've never met in real life. They've only ever met through like
True.
Discord chat or
Yeah.
Instagram or whatever. So
You have friends like that?
kind of, I think.
Well, I know you don't have very many friends at all, so it's hard for you to say.
It's a problem for me.
Yeah, it's okay.
As you know, I am somebody who gets the ick when it comes to these types of relationships. So I tend to not have a lot of friends who are just like internet friends.
Yeah.
I do have some people who I would describe as like acquaintances who I met through like the internet at different parts of my life, who I still follow on social media now, but
Right.
I've never met them. So I don't consider them like my friends, which I think is normal.
Yeah, no, they're like buddies, I would say. Like my internet chat buddies.
I hate the word buddy. That's a whole other topic.
I do too. Doesn't it feel
Yeah.
like aggressively like
Condescending.
infantilizing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, bud. Oh god, I hate that. I
Like,
hate
fuck
that.
off.
Yeah, exactly, right? Oh my god, it makes me violently angry if someone calls me buddy. You know what? I feel like all the time, so many straight men say that to me. Or boss. What's going on, boss? How you doing, buddy? I don't like that.
Yeah.
Don't do that to me. Call me by my name, bitch.
Just say hello. We
Yeah.
don't need to say like
We don't
buddy.
need an article.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just hello's fine.
Glad I got that out of the system.
Me too. Speaking of the system, we got to talk real quick about the DNC. We got to talk about the DNC.
There is a link actually between this like weird parasocial thing and the
Totally.
DNC, I think.
yeah,
Because
100%.
I think that against all odds, the Republican Party was actually the first party to really play into
Take
like
a look at me now.
the Republican Party was really the first party to play into like the internet culture of it all with Donald Trump's campaign in 2016. And it feels like just now, I mean, Pokemon Go to the polls. Like that was the best that Clinton had in 2016 in terms of internet culture. We all remember.
Tough.
It's tough. And now we finally see like the Democrats fully embracing that culture with like the embrace of the brat memes. They've embraced the demure memes. They have advanced this like kind of weird harmless dog whistle of like JD Vance couch fucker. Like all of the Democrats are like mentioning the word couch
it's so wild
in their speeches, which is kind of like a secret code for people who are way too online and know about the couch fucking thing.
Yeah.
There was also this speculation at the DNC about a so-called secret guest looking, again, this is not to use the word TikTok conspiracy theory again, but a lot of people like basically speculating based on like random evidence
speculation
at the DNC that there would be a special guest, which many people guessed what might be Beyonce or might be Taylor Swift. Turns out there was no special guest.
Well, what's interesting about that is that there was like a DNC worker who was like relatively high up who said that there could be a special guest.
That's what I mean. They were playing into it actively. Yeah.
They intentionally did this to like lay the foundation of all the speculation that happened online because they knew that it would occur. I know that they did it for the views, and it's so funny that they like literally clickbaited in real time.
I think this is really how the Democrats, I mean, I want it to be clear here. I don't think that like Kamala has this wrapped up at this point. Like it still looks like it's going to be a very close race. So like nobody take this to mean like the Democrats have it in the bag. But I do think that they have leveled up in terms of how they're engaging with their base, especially the young folks in their base,
The young folks.
Not to sound too much like Biden.
You really, but... like your trousers are up past your belly button today.
I know.
Clearing your throat every 5 seconds.
I know.
Talking about the young folks and TikTok videos. God, yeah. Well, you know what? I'm glad that the Democrats are like finally getting with the times to some degree. I think that there's still a lot of people who they're not reaching, and that's okay. But at least they're doing, I think, a great job of like capturing the attention of like millennials and I would say like elder Gen Z.
I don't know if you saw this news article. I think it was on, I can't remember where it was from, so I don't want to misquote, but the headline was something like, the Harris campaign social media is being run by feral 25-year-olds.
And so, what now?
It was written in a positive light. It was like, this is why the social media feeds from like Kamala HQ and stuff have been getting so much traction, is because they're fully leaning into this, which, again, I think Trump accidentally did this when he ran in 2016 because he's like, however you feel about Trump, he is objectively funny. Like, he's oftentimes funny and deeply depressing.
You know what was one of the funniest things he ever did?
What's that?
Fauci, this other person who I can't remember, you might know her. She works in the government too. She was known in the COVID era for like wearing scarves a lot, like little shawls. When she was
I remember who you're talking about, but I can't remember her name. Yeah.
What is her name?
Oh, she was like the doctor. She was like one of his advisors who was a doctor, and she kept making faces when he would say stupid shit, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But one of the funniest things he did, she was like up there talking about, they were standing next to each other, and she said something about how she had just had COVID, and she's like, but I isolated for 5 days, and now I'm fine. And Trump, upon hearing this, puts his hands up as to like stop and give me space motion and backs away and goes, oh boy. He was giving high comedy. You know what else was so funny that another politician did on the other side of the aisle? When Joe Biden saw Marjorie Taylor Greene in her insane getup at his State of the Union address this year. The surprise face he made.
Yeah.
It was so funny. He was like, ah.
Yeah.
I love it when these old politicians give us high comedy. It's great. But keep in mind, they're not our friends.
Again, that's a key point here is that as much as I enjoy that Democrats have been activated in this way, I do think it is partially because of this like weird parasocial dynamic where now people are like, oh, now I can kind of like vibe with Kamala now. Like I see Kamala as like a real person, and it's like, just keep in mind, always remember, you actually don't know her.
Right.
You don't know Tim Walz. You know what I mean? Like, these are just people who are trying to get your vote, and that's the reason why they're projecting this kind of like relatability. One final thing about the DNC. Did you see the roll call dance party featuring Lil Jon?
Oh my god, I did. That was actually so funny for the Georgia delegates casting their vote.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god. It was really kind of insane. I mean, I think it is a sign that people are willing to try to have fun now. I think that in 2020 during the Biden-Trump election, people were mostly just like, listen, we're all deeply depressed. Let's just get this over with. Let's get through this. Like, we're not here for any funny business or any entertainment. And now it seems like people are willing to try and have a little bit of fun, which I think is a good sign in terms of like how people feel about the Democratic Party. And I think this really was only awakened after Biden stepped down and Kamala took the reins.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Joe Biden was like, you know, truly seen as, he's the epitome of an establishment Democrat, capital E, capital D. And so with that kind of face leading the party, the tone is a little bit more serious, a little bit more somber. You know, you're really focused on like talking points. Joe Biden's not going to be posting funny memes. Joe Biden is not the person who's going to be like telling his marketing team to kind of lean into like what's going on with social media. He probably had a bunch of people in their like late 30s, early 40s running his campaign.
Well, I think you'd be surprised. Like there were memes. Like he had like a Biden HQ page. There's like that meme of him with like the red eyes, like that kind of thing. People were trying, even me, which I try to distance myself from this kind of stuff most times. But like when I saw those memes, I was like, ugh, like stop trying to make this happen. Like it's Biden.
Yeah, it didn't feel right because it wasn't. He was just like a figurehead for like the past.
Right. And it does feel like now the Democratic Party in general feels like it is interested in moving forward.
Yes, Kamala is the future.
Whether or not that is like accurate based on the policies that she has on her platform or not is another conversation. But at least in terms of vibes, I think that vibes have shifted for sure.
I would agree. Yeah. Wait, I have one more thing.
Oh, go for it.
So did you see, I don't know how many photos you saw or if you watched any of it, but there was one night that Kamala was wearing like a brown suit.
This is another internet culture thing that they fed into, right? But because
the coconut brown, it was actually called coconut brown.
Right, I did hear about this. So for those who did not go down this particular internet wormhole, on the first night of the DNC, Kamala wore a tan suit, which, first of all, already has some resonance because Obama famously, there was a quote-unquote scandal about Obama wearing a tan suit early on in his presidency. So it's kind of like, now it's kind of a joke on the Democratic side for people to wear tan suits all the time to like trigger the right because like they made a big deal out of Obama wearing it.
Yep. Yes. Wasn't that also the arugula salad thing too?
Oh my God. Yeah. The arugula thing. So lame. Like this is the best you got.
Yep. Literally. They're reaching.
But yeah. So some internet sleuths looked at the specific suit color that Kamala's suit was, and it was called coconut brown.
By Chloe.
Which seems like it must have been intentional on the campaign's part.
That and her wearing like the white pussy bow blouse.
Yes.
All very intentional. Callbacks. Lots of callbacks. I love it. I love when there's little Easter eggs like this.
See, this is what I'm talking about. They're really playing into the internet, the internet culture's desire to like pick apart every little thing for Easter eggs and clues.
Yeah,
you know,
it's great. I'm engaged. Yeah. I'm engaging.
Oh, do we need to explain the couch thing?
I thought we did.
People know about that? I don't think we've ever actually talked about the origin of the couch.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the couch.
For those who may not be familiar with J.D. Vance's couch discourse, J.D. Vance kind of came to prominence because he wrote a novel called Hillbilly Elegy that was adapted into a film, a biography, or a memoir, I should say, of his life. And it was essentially marketed as being like, this is why people, in red states voted for Trump. And I think a lot of liberals around the time that this was first published were showing everybody this book and being like, look, this is a really sympathetic portrayal of why a bunch of people voted for Trump. Because I think like post 2016, a lot of people were like, I really don't understand how Trump won.
Yeah.
There were a lot of liberals who were in denial about how many people voted for him.
What happened?
A lot of liberals were recommending this book, Hillbilly Elegy, as like providing an answer to that question. Fast forward until today, and J.D. Vance is now a figure who is generally hated by the left, and that's because he very quickly moved into politics from being a debut author, and now is like a very like alt-right, kind of just like weird online Republican type, You know the type.
Sure do. Hate the type.
And now that everybody doesn't like him, there was this completely false story going around that in Hillbilly Elegy, J.D. Vance describes fucking a couch, which I think is like, it's such a funny fake thing because it's so obviously fake. But you think for that first second when you hear it, you're like, I gotta buy it. Like JD Vance? Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
that. But at the same time, it's so insane and obviously false that it is like, we're not actually making an accusation or legitimately saying that JD Vance did this or saying anything actually offensive that he did, right? It's just like so absurd.
It sounds like one of those crazy like rumors from middle school that somebody would talk
like
about.
Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Having the ribs removed.
Right. I mean, everybody who says this on the left knows that it's
Yeah.
false. It's not like anybody is intentionally spreading misinformation.
No, it's like a wink.
Right. It's just such a funny, absurd thing. And JD Vance is such like a weird dude in such a lot of ways that it kind of tracks with his energy. And I think that's the origin.
Did you see the video of him going to the donut store? The donut shop?
I didn't know.
It was so weird. I can't understand. This is my new Roman Empire. I can't understand his like publicity team, his PR team, whatever, thinking that this was a good thing to release. He like goes into a donut shop. He's talking to the workers, but this is how he talks to them. He goes, there's like 4 or 5 of them. And he's like, how long have you worked here? How long have you worked here? How long have you worked here? For every person. Doesn't follow up. Doesn't say anything about it. There's like no response. He just goes to the next person. Then they say, what would you like to order? And he says, whatever makes sense. What's that about? What a crazy thing
What a
to
weird
say.
guy.
And then his team like released it as if that this was like how a normal person interacts with other people.
He's the type of Republican candidate where all of like the weird alt-right people online really like him, and then as soon as he like exits into the real world, it's like, who is this person?
Yeah.
Speaking of weird alt-right internet stuff, did you see that on his, I have to say this every time, on his proprietary Twitter clone, Truth Social, Trump posted an AI image that showed Taylor Swift endorsing him for president. Did you see this?
I did see it. Dressed as Uncle Sam, no less.
I feel like we have to talk about this just because of the AI.
Wait, are we in Tech Corner?
No.
Oh.
This is tech corner not required here, I feel like. It's just insane. Trump, I feel like, truly doesn't know what the fuck he's doing anymore. He's just like, oh, look at this. It's a cool picture of T-Swift. Let's add this to my Truth Social account. A totally normal social media.
A totally normal and very well used social media platform. This is like a role reversal of 2016. The Republicans now are not at all with it. They don't have their pulse on the culture, and the Democrats do. And the Republicans are no longer like unified in their messaging now that this wrench was thrown into their plans of Biden dropping out and Harris stepping in. But it just shows that like the emperor has no clothes. They have no plan. They have no policies other than everything outlined in Project 2025. They don't have anything that they know will actually resonate and inspire people. So they're just like grasping for straws here. And like Donald Trump is reportedly in a freaking tailspin over all this and is already saying that it's illegal for Harris to have accepted the nomination and for Biden to have dropped out, and just making all kinds of absolutely false claims that have no basis in reality and are not legally binding or sound.
About this particular grasp for relevance that Trump has pulled, I do worry there's a lot of people, especially the types of people who are on Truth Social, because you gotta be pretty loyal to Trump to even make a Truth Social account. Like, I think there's going to be a large proportion of people who do see this and they're like, either don't know what AI is, aren't familiar enough with that technology. They're going to see it and literally just be like, oh, okay, I guess like Taylor Swift is endorsing Trump.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, it's not like the majority of people. I think the majority of people probably understand that that's fake, but I think that there is a population of people on there who will believe that. And, that's the dystopia that we welcome on ourselves the more that we get this generative AI technology onto our devices and into more people's hands.
It's all the more reason for us to vet all of our sources carefully and for us to see like credits for images. Like we should be able to see like where this image come from.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if it just looks like it's real but it's AI generated, then and eventually AI illustrations are going to become such that they're going to be virtually indistinguishable from real life.
Well, have you seen, so that's, maybe we are in Tech Corner. Have you seen the new Google phones, the new Pixel phones, and their new technology that they have where you can edit images? Okay. There has been some discourse about this because the new Google Pixel phones, which are their flagship devices, they have this new ability where you can take existing photos, right? Photos that you took with the Pixel, and you can basically like circle a part of the photo and then give a prompt and say like, add this to the picture. And it will add that into the photo, and it's pretty high quality. Like if you pixel peep, like if you zoom in, you can probably tell it's AI, but in terms of like Instagram quality, it's pretty good.
Did you say
stuff.
pixel peep?
Yes.
I've not heard this term. I love that.
That's like photography nerd talk, I guess.
I love it. That sounds like a username from AIM. Pixel peep X49.
TBT.
BRB, GTG.
There were some examples that some reporters did where they like added drugs to a picture of like one of their colleagues. Like they added like a needle and, you know, like a tube to tie around your arm to like a picture of their colleague.
Very cool and normal to do.
Right, very normal. There was the option you could like make an entire motorcycle crash in the middle of an empty street, stuff like that. Stuff that looks pretty believable. So I do think we're kind of at the end of an era here where the photograph used to be like evidence of an objective event happening.
Right.
And now that line is being blurred quite a bit. And the thing that frustrates me is it reminds me a lot of something that you said in an earlier episode where it's like who wants this? What is the use case for this? Like in everyday life, like this is at best a novelty, and at worst,
mass
we have
tool.
Right, we have the degradation of like objective truth.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's just dumb, and it's only so that they can say that they have AI tools in their phones, so that their shares go up, and so that stockholders are satisfied with the company's progress.
This is corporate greed to its core, Justin, rearing its ugly head again. Also, do you know a single person who has a Google Pixel phone?
Well, we're in a blue bubble.
Are we?
Well, all of our friends have iPhones. I think we peer pressured them into getting iPhones.
You mean like our chat group?
Yes, like most bubbles. Of our friends.
Yeah.
Yes, most of our friends have iPhones, I think. I have in the past known people who have Pixels. I think that most of my Android friends have like Galaxies, though. They're not Pixel people.
Yeah, Samsung. Samsung makes a lot of money. They've got a chokehold on a lot of Asia.
You know what else makes a lot of money and has a chokehold on a lot of Asia?
Would it be a little game franchise called Pocket Monsters?
That is exactly right, Geoff. The video game franchise Pokémon is our main topic for this week. So let's take a quick break, and then we'll be right back with a discussion of that beloved Japanese franchise. And we're back. So, Geoff, we've been talking a lot about Y2K era pop culture, and off the pod, we had been discussing topics, and
you shot down all of mine. You shot him down, Justin. Bang, bang. You shot him down.
I shot down one idea.
Okay.
And then I had another idea, which was that...
And it was a good one.
Pokemon is an iconic Y2K era franchise.
Truly was. Truly is.
We decided to talk about it today as our main topic.
It.
So, Geoff, what was your entry point to Pokemon? How did you discover it? What was your relationship with it as a kid? Like, how did you feel about it?
Well, I loved Pokemon. I fucking loved it. I started watching Pokemon on TV first. I watched the anime series. And then I remember all kinds of build-up about it. And I was super into anime at the time. I was a Sailor Moon stan. Loved it. I watched Dragon Ball Z every now and then too. It was a little too masked for me, a little too hetero. You know what I mean? Although kind of gay animation. Rippling male muscles. Know what I mean?
There's a thesis to be written about the homoerotic subtext of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, but the culture around it was like, the boys like Dragon Ball Z and the girls and faggots like Sailor Moon. So I didn't like that, and I was like, yeah, I'll be with the girls and fags. But anyways, I really remember there was a lot of build-up about Pokemon, and it was on the CW. How about that? That's a throwback.
The WB, yeah?
Was it WB? I thought it was CW.
Well, CW is the new version. They renamed it from WB, yeah.
Oh, okay. Like a couple weeks later, there was like the Game Boy games came out, the blue and red versions. And I said, I've got to have that. I love this show. But you know what? When I was watching the show, I thought for sure I was going to get to be Ash Ketchum in the red version, and I would be getting my Pikachu to start the game. But that's not what happened. Instead, you got to choose from the iconic original three: Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle. And you know I had to pick Bulbasaur, most well-rounded of the starting Pokemon.
This is a hot take.
Is it?
Okay, maybe I'll get into my background with Pokemon as well, and then we can talk about starter choices. I remember on my 5th birthday, I was begging my parents to get me a Game Boy and Pokemon. They did. It was my first ever video game. Not only did it awaken like the gamer in me, where I was like, I actually think I like video games, but also I started watching the anime of Pokemon, as Geoff had mentioned. And I also got really into the trading card game, which is another whole aspect of Pokemon.
We got to talk about that after, but I need to hear more about watching the show, and I want to hear all about like your choices. What version you had of the game and who you picked?
I had Pokemon Blue.
Oh, of course you were Blue. I was red, obviously.
Yeah, I had Pokemon Blue, and I also chose Bulbasaur, but the reason why is because I was like 5 years old. And turns out 5-year-olds are really bad at video games. Do you remember that game? You know, it's a top-down perspective 2D game, like you go up, down, left, right. That's how your character moves.
Yeah.
You begin the game like in your mom's house.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't understand how to leave my mom's house when I was playing the game. I just kept walking around in circles and being like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? And I remember giving the Game Boy to my mom and dad, and I was like, hey, do you guys know like where I'm supposed to go? And they were like even worse at games than I am, right? As a 5-year-old. So they were like, I don't know. I mean, it's a game, you know, who's to say? And in my mind, this was like a week-long period. In real life, it was probably like 2 hours. Yeah, because I was 5. Eventually, I finally realized that there's like a doormat to signify where the exits are.
Yeah,
in
okay.
the house. So you would have to like press down on the D-pad at the doormat to exit the house.
Yes.
I still vividly remember this because there's so much like game language that you learn when you play these early games.
Right,
that
exactly.
you wouldn't know unless you had played a
intuitive.
game before.
Yep.
Right. There's a lot of language that's like not obvious. And for a similar reason is why I picked Bulbasaur. So for those who are in the know, the first 2 gym leaders in the first Pokemon games are Brock, who has rock-type Pokemon, and Misty, who has water-type Pokemon. If you pick Charmander, the fire-type starter, Charmander is weak against both rock and water.
Yeah, you're in for a world of disappointment.
Right. Squirtle is good against rock, but is also not very good against water, right?
Yep.
Water-type Pokemon resist water-type attacks. Bulbasaur is the starter that's good against both rock and water.
Exactly.
In classic newbie Pokemon fashion, eventually I had a team that was like one like level 75 Venusaur and then like 5 other Pokemon that were like level 20.
Yep.
And I was just absolutely rolling over everything with my Venusaur. So that's why I ended up with Bulbasaur, but ever since then I've definitely been like a grass starter stan from the beginning.
Yeah,
sure.
Me too. I love it. It's just they're just well balanced.
Yeah.
They're of the earth, Justin, you understand.
So in terms of the anime,
the anime.
Pokemon, I think, was my first exposure to anime in general.
Yeah.
I think that Dragon Ball Z is probably the other big influence on Western cultures, and as you mentioned, stuff like Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon got the boom. Remember that song?
No, I don't.
You don't remember that song?
I don't remember most things from that era of my life.
The chickadee China, the Chinese chicken, have a drumstick and your brain starts ticking.
Oh,
Watch the X-Files with the lights on. No?
I do know that
Nothing?
song, but I didn't realize, I don't remember the Sailor Moon lyric.
Sailor Moon got the boom.
Okay. I'll have to give that a re-listen. What band was that?
1 Week by the Bare Naked Ladies.
Bare Naked Ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, what a name of a band.
It's a great name of a band. So 90s.
The Bare Naked Ladies.
That entire song would not fly today.
Yeah, I know. Every line that you said, I was like, ooh, interesting.
Yeah, tough.
Yeah.
Tough, didn't age well.
But yeah, I think that there had been some earlier animes that made it across to the US, but I really think that like there was a massive surge in anime popularity starting with Pokemon, you know, and Dragon Ball Z, I guess.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z, sure.
Like you, I was not really into Dragon Ball Z. I always thought that was kind of silly. It was all these guys who would be like, we're fighting each other, and then it would be like a big fight, and then it would be like, okay, this guy beat this guy this episode, and then the next episode, one of the other guys would be like, I just went up to level 55 power level. now it's time to battle again. And I'd be like, this is stupid.
No, you know what that entire show was?
What?
It was these absolute queens, these muscle out, like, roid queens from West Hollywood, wearing the suggestion of clothing, monologuing for about 25 minutes, and then there would be 5 minutes of action, and then it would leave you on a cliffhanger. And they would be at the same battle for like 3 episodes. And I'm like, how is this happening? And I'm like, if you guys would just fight, you could like actually get something accomplished here.
Yeah,
and there's no real like majesty to it. Yeah, exactly. You know what I loved about Sailor Moon? All the transformations.
Yeah.
And the fun music.
Mm-hmm.
He's swirling all around, twirling, and having like fabric apparate out of nowhere and completely change their fucking look. And they had those cunty hairstyles that were completely implausible and defied gravity.
That's part of the appeal. Yeah.
And same thing with Pokemon. It was so... You know what I also loved about Pokemon?
Team Rocket.
Aside from the phantasmagoric of it all, well, Team Rocket, we gotta talk about Team Rocket. I also love that it was like adventure. It was adventure.
It's a fantasy because Ash is famously like 8 or something when he starts off. He's probably like 12, I guess.
I think it was 10.
Okay, so he's 10. Very young. And he's
so
like,
young.
all right, I'm going to go off into the wilderness and catch these giant beasts.
And his mom's like, all right, have fun. I packed you like 2 days worth of food in your backpack. Good luck.
Good luck, have fun, kid. GLHF.
That is crazy to think about.
It is like a fantasy, though, for a kid to be like, okay, I'm going to go off on an adventure, and I'm going to catch a really cool big red dragon that breathes fire, you know?
What if you told your mom, hey, I met this nutty professor down the road. He has all these monsters, and he's going to give me one. He told me to go off into the woods and try to become a master of all these monsters. Is that cool with you? And your mom's like, yeah? This is neglect. Somebody call Child Protective Services.
In the world of Pokemon, like, this is a normal accepted thing, right? Like, Pokemon are like their partners in life, even more so than our pets are in
This is
our
the
world.
only use of partner other than gay relationships in business that I will accept.
Okay.
Pokemon are the real life partners.
It is funny, like, that is the whole through line, the emotional through line of the anime is like the relationship between Pokemon and their trainers, which is hilarious because you're like forcing them to fight each other. Do you remember that? Like, from PETA in the early days, there was a lot of quote unquote controversy about Pokemon because it was like dog fighting.
You know what? I always forget about that aspect. I always think about the aspect of me understanding that creatures other than humans are capable of complex emotion and intelligence. That was like my big takeaway from Pokemon. I started thinking about like animals having more complex thought and feelings than I initially assumed that they did. I guess I just, I was young and I didn't really ever think about that. That is kind of fucked up. These Pokemon are in like a abusive situation if you think about it. Like, imagine taking Sweet Franklin and telling him to go beat up another dog.
Right.
Imagine taking this sweet boy Drogo right here sitting beside me and telling him go fucking fight another cat in a stadium and everyone's going to be cheering and watching.
Yeah, it's
what the
literally
fuck
like
is that
Gladiator.
about?
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
It is like there is an inherent tension there where like I think that the only way that they can kind of smooth that over is to be like, no, the Pokemon want to, like, they're having fun.
Yeah.
Like, I promise they're our partners. So like I think that's the reason why that was such an emotional through line in the anime is because like it's the only way that it makes sense and isn't sad for the Pokemon.
Yeah.
In the video games, it's kind of like, it's just like any other RPG, right? You get these Pokemon who are kind of like your party members, then you level them up, and you get stronger and stronger, and you can beat stronger and stronger enemies.
You capture them from the wild and then trap them in a little jail cell.
That is something that is truly novel about Pokemon. This whole genre of monster collecting games, which surprisingly, there haven't been a ton of them, right? There's like Pokemon... There was Digimon, although Digimon started as an anime and then was adapted into a video game. And only recently have there been like copycats that are trying to like copy Pokemon in video games where you can capture monsters. We can talk about this maybe a little bit later, but like it is interesting how popular Pokemon was and how few copies there were, or successful copies there have been, right? Like with other video game genres like Final Fantasy on the RPG side, or if you look at like open world games like Grand Theft Auto, like every single game, like there's dozens and dozens of games that are like copying those original envelope pushers, but there's not too many on the Pokemon side. I think I know why that's the case, but we can leave that until like the modern Pokemon discussion, I guess.
Okay.
So in terms of like Pokemon cards,
Pokemon cards.
Yeah, what was your relationship with those?
Well, I think I might have talked about this on another episode, but Pokemon cards taught me a lot about capitalism and the idea of manufactured scarcity. Because I had two friends growing up, Danny and Gunnar, and we were all into Pokemon. In fact, the first time I watched Pokemon was at Danny's house after school. It was appointment television, like TRL later became. I was like, we have to go watch Pokemon. It's coming out. We went to Danny's house and watched it because it was in syndication. Because it already had existed in Japan. Danny and Gunnar were super into Pokemon. And they also were collectors. And they also grew up in families that had some more money than my family did. So they were out there buying everything Pokemon. Merch. Cards, starter pack, booster pack, next place. And they just go clear places out. And I remember they both had the coveted holographic Charizard card. Rare.
Wow.
As denoted on the card. Rare type card.
Star symbol.
Yep, star symbol. Then we had the diamond, uncommon.
Right.
And then we had the circular, common card.
AKA basic.
I can't tell you how many Digletts I had. I had so many Digletts. One of the most common cards that existed, I think, at that time, the Fossil Pack. How about that?
Yeah.
Danny and Gunnar both had a rare Charizard card. They had a hard plastic case protector for it. And they brought it to school and showed everybody, and I said, I want one of those. So my mom and dad, I convinced them that this was something I had to have in order to be cool and fit in. And my parents said, okay, we'll go to the mall. We went to the Citadel.
Oh my God, Citadel.
Remember the Citadel?
Whew, that is a blast from the past. I used to love that.
That is a blast from the past. That is a blast straight from the 90s. You know, that was kind of like, what would you liken it to now? Sort of like a precursor to GameStop?
Well, Citadel, shops like that still exist, but it was basically like a card game and board game shop. So like, they sold also like Magic the Gathering, which started as a card game around the same time the Pokemon cards were a thing. They also sold like Yu-Gi-Oh cards when those got popular. They also were for like the adult nerds.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, D&D stuff and like Warhammer stuff.
Yeah.
All the like little miniatures that people paint, you know?
That place always smelled like red onions, freshly chopped.
Really?
There was not a lot of deodorant going on in that place.
Well, that
personal
tracks.
hygiene.
That tracks.
Yeah, let's just say that.
But it was a great store to go into as like a 10-year-old. It was truly magical, the amount of
There's
cards.
so much stuff to look at.
Yeah.
So many colors. Loved it. Yeah, so my parents, we went out and we bought some Pokemon cards and I opened them up and my disappointment level was off the charts when I had no Charizard. And I said to my mom, I need to find a rare card. It's extremely rare, so we just gotta buy more of these. And my mom said to me, how can it be rare if you have two of your good friends who have the same card? How rare is it really? And I said, well, it's very rare. They just got super lucky. Then, a few weeks later, there were more kids in school coming in with their holographic Charizard, Venusaur, Blastoise. And I said, maybe these aren't so rare after all. So I told my mom, and she said, yeah, that's because they want you to think it's rare so that you buy more cards. That's the whole name of the game.
Well, Geoff, they are actually rare. Like, they're rarer than the common cards and uncommon cards.
Yes, but they're not rare in the world.
This is a deeper conversation, I guess.
It's not that deep.
It reminds me, like, okay, more recently, there was a bubble when it came to Pokemon cards and their value, right? So, like, first edition
2020.
Charizards, for example, yeah, they were going for, like, I don't even know. I want to say tens of thousands of dollars for one of them. Like, grown adults buying these.
Mm-hmm.
This, I mean, it's a supply and demand thing. It's more so,
Right.
Value is, like, a subjective thing that, you know, goes up and goes down based on context.
Thank you for explaining basic economics to me. I really appreciate that.
Of course. My point being that, you know, these Charizards are rare. Like, there's only a finite number of first edition Charizards out there, you know?
We're not talking about editions. I'm just saying that was my first understanding of, like, what capitalism is really about. It's about you spending as much money as possible based on, like, these prescribed values on things that really don't have any inherent value.
Right. I mean, this is actually where I agree with you in that I think it's actually more like the lottery.
Point for me.
First of all, trading card games are a scam, right?
Total. That's what I'm saying. This is my entire thesis.
All trading card games. I wonder who was the first person to come up with this, because when you buy a board
probably
game...
your mom. Point for me.
Okay, So board games have existed for a very long time. Card games have existed for a very long time. And for each of those games, you have one product, you purchase the product, and then you can play the game an unlimited amount of times, right?
Right.
For a trading card game, first of all, there's like the kid aspect, which is just like you want to collect them all. That's fine. That's
Gotta
whatever.
catch them all. Gotta catch them all. Gotta catch them all.
Obviously, if you got rare cards and common cards, you got to buy a bunch of booster packs. You can't just like buy the rare card for more money. You got to keep buying a bajillion booster packs so you get like 100 common cards for every one rare card that you want or something, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that's one side. But then also, if you want to like actually play the game, and this is another whole thing. I was the kid on the playground who was like, I actually know how to play Pokemon cards. Of course
you were.
You absolute fools.
I knew it. I just knew. I could see you sitting there with your like little fucking energy.
My deck. Yeah, the energy cards.
And being like, actually, this is how you lay it out. And when this card is sideways, that's what it actually means, just so you know. I was absolutely not that kid.
I liked to be competitive.
I just wanted the holographic cards.
Yeah. You were just a collector.
I just wanted it for the art.
If you do want to play it at a competitive level, you have to spend an obscene amount of money to get the good cards. You can't just like buy the card, right? So you're paying probably like in the order of like hundreds of dollars on booster packs to get what you want.
I remember those packs of 12 cards, I think. Was it 10 or 12 cards? Anyways, they were $7.99. That's insane when you think about it.
It is. And you have to buy so many of them to get the cards to make your deck good enough for it to be competitive, right?
Right.
And that's why these things are so profitable. And like in reality, they're pieces of cardboard.
Yeah.
You know? So it really is a scam. I think I realized this during that 2020 era when there were all of these bubbles for like collectible items.
Late to the party much?
Well, I was like, I mean, on one hand, it is nice to have the physical item and it feels good. It gives me that dopamine burst, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it is very much like gambling in that way, where it's like the feeling of scratching a winning scratch off is very similar to the feeling of opening up like a rare Charizard in a booster pack, you know?
Yes, I would agree completely.
So yeah, it's a scam. And there's now like a bunch of video game equivalents to trading card games where you don't have to buy a bunch of booster packs. Like you can just unlock the cards as you go. So I feel like that's a much more ethical business model for stuff like this.
It is ethical.
Yeah.
It is more ethical, I should say. I want to talk about the anime a little bit more.
Okay.
I have to tell you, I watched that show until I was much too old to be watching that show.
Which like era? Like which era did you stop at?
I would say I probably... Well, I watched the first movie. That was an event.
Geoff, of course, you got the Mew card, right? Like the like Egyptian themed Mew card that you got.
Of course I did. You know Mew's my favorite Pokemon.
That wasn't even that late. That was like, when that come out? Like 1999?
That was 2000, I think.
Yeah.
Pokemon, it was 2000 because I was 10.
It was 10. In the name.
Yes, it was. That's right. Oh my God. Yeah, we went for my friend Ivan's 10th birthday.
Yeah.
We went to the movies to watch that. It was like a group of like 10 of us. And
I remember thinking... That was a lesson, because I remember thinking, like, this Mew card is so freaking cool. It's so holographic. And then I realized everybody who went to go see the movie got the card.
But I was like, that. I actually think I have to look later. And if I do have it, I'm going to take a photo and post it in this week's Instagram post. But I think I might still have the Egyptian Mew card in my memory box.
It's an iconic card. Yeah.
Iconic. Yeah, I watched that, and then I watched like the next movie that had like Lugia, of course.
Yeah.
And then I think I probably stopped watching it when I was like 14 or 15. So it was after that. I think he was still in Kanto at that point.
That's what I was trying to get at. Yeah, because he was in Kanto for a long time. They were teasing those Johto Pokemon.
Yep.
Quite a bit. That was a great aspect of the anime that I think really hooked me.
It.
Was, do you remember like in the very first episode of the anime, there is that you see Ho-Oh, but it was before Ho-Oh was a Pokemon.
Yeah,
like it was before
just, like,
it was in
cruising over the sky in the rainbow.
Right.
You said, "What's that?"
It was this aspect of a mystery, you know,
it was a legendary Pokemon, Hunty.
Right. It wasn't even obtainable in Pokemon Red or Blue or Yellow.
No, couldn't get there. Who's that? We don't know.
It was just this aspect of mystery and unknowability of the Pokemon world that I think was really appealing.
Pokédex?
What about it?
I love Pokédex. I love that it would just like you pointed at some shit and then it would tell you what it is. It's kind of like one of the newer features that's in like our phones.
Yeah.
Where you can like do an image search.
I guess so,
That's
yeah.
cunty.
It's kind of a real life Pokedex, yeah.
It really kind of is. It's pretty amazing. You can do that with plants. I have this great app when I don't know a plant, and I can like just hold up my camera and take a photo of it. And it's like, it could be this or it could be this. And then it asks you questions about like the physical appearance that the camera may not be able to capture.
I do love that feature. That is an AI feature, but I do actually like that feature.
That's AI I want and need in my life.
There's a use case for that AI. It's not
Absolutely.
just like
it's
disrupting
useful.
Society.
Imagine what we could do with AI in medicine.
Well, there is a lot of use cases in medicine. Yeah.
True.
There's a lot of stuff related to work.
Like, let's focus it on things that are for like the common good.
Stuff where there's an actual use case. Nobody wants shitty art, quote unquote art, made by AI. You know? Nobody is asking for that.
Exactly. Also in the anime. How about Team Rocket?
I would say the most iconic characters, like at least human characters in the anime.
100%. I love Team Rocket. I think they are so funny. They're campy, queer-coded, heavily queer-coded. And I love that Meowth is like the only talking Pokemon. I mean, Mewtwo talks, but it's like more telepathy. Yeah. Meowth talking and all his little quips and one-liners, that was like formative humor shaping for me.
he's hilarious.
Meow, that's right. He has like inexplicably has like a Brooklyn type accent.
Yeah, no, I wonder who on the American side was like, yeah, this guy's a New Yorker.
Yeah, I love it. It's so funny to me. I love their blasting off again, and I also love their like campy monologues and dramatic music that plays every time they come on.
And then like very soon after their debut, that they were completely being made fun of for their long monologues and for their dramatic music, where Ash would be like, "Are you done yet?" It was
so funny. Yeah, yes. Oh my god, Pokemon was so funny.
It was very funny.
I loved that. That was exactly my humor. I think it still is. I really do think it was formative. I love that kind of shit.
Going back to the anime a little bit, at least the film, the first movie, I vividly remember getting the Mew card going in, and there is this iconic scene at the end, which makes absolutely no sense. But I think this is the first time that I ever cried at a movie, for some reason, and I don't remember the plot reason for this. But all of the Pokemon, except for Pikachu and Ash, had turned to stone.
Yes, I do remember that.
Pikachu sheds a tear, and somehow, I don't understand how this happened, plot-wise. But somehow Pikachu's tear, like, rolls down his face and, like, goes into the air and somehow cures all of the Pokemon and Ash from their stoneness. And it is this, like, symbol of love that Pikachu has for his trainer and for the other Pokemon that convinces Mewtwo that all humans shouldn't die, which is actually quite deep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I fully cried. I was like, this is so meaningful.
Oh, I cried too. Everyone made fun of me at the Ivan's birthday party.
No. It's a very emotional moment, and it was a very nice emotional core of that film. You know, the relationship between Pikachu and Ash. And I remember my dad coming out of the movie. I think I went to see it with my dad alone, like just me and my dad. And when we got home, I remember my mom being like, "So how was it, guys?" My dad was like, "Surprisingly serious movie for being about Pokemon."
That sounds just like your dad.
Yeah, so that was like, I don't know. I guarantee you if I watched it again now, I'd be like, this is absolute trash. But in the moment, it was exactly what I was looking for out of a Pokemon movie.
I think we should watch it.
Yeah, talk about it.
I think we should watch it, and we should like do like a live reaction. Yeah, I think it would be funny. That would be fun.
Yeah, that would be fun. So yeah, I love that. I feel like I fell off the anime itself pretty early and was more of a game kid at that point, because
interesting.
At a certain point, I realized that the games are like way ahead of the anime, and I was like, I got to be on that cutting edge new Pokemon flow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it definitely did have a bit of a lag between. I also wonder if that was because they were like making the anime in Japan, and it was still sort of pre-globalization, so it was taking a while for things to get translated and get the rights for it to be shown in America. I don't know.
It had to be localized. Yeah. That's definitely what part of it. And I mean, the other thing is that you got to remember that these Pokemon are being designed at the game studio first, and then the games are being developed. Then the designers of the game send out the designs to the people who do the animation, and then the animation gets made. So like, there's a whole pipeline for this, you know. But the origin
takes time.
Is the games, you know.
And they make some interesting choices, I think.
The anime, you mean?
Yeah. How about Victory Bell? Do you remember Victory Bell?
I do remember Victory
Absolutely
Bell.
screaming every time it comes on screen.
It is funny how some of the anime things have been like brought back into the games.
The games.
Like Pikachu, for example,
they
was
like self-informed.
Right. Like Pikachu was not originally the Pikachu that we know and love today, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the original pixel work and the original animations, it's like this very chubby, like big mouse-like looking Pokemon.
Yeah, Pikachu went on Ozempic before it was a thing.
Yes. In the anime, they were like, well, he's got to be the mascot of the entire franchise, right?
Yeah, because he appealed to boys and girls, and he was colorful.
Yeah, they skinnied him up a little bit so he looked faster.
Mm-hmm. More agile, actiony.
And eventually they updated Pikachu's design in the games to reflect that.
Yeah, exactly.
It is interesting that he wasn't intended to be the mascot. Like, if you look at Red and Blue, he wasn't on the box, right? It was only after the anime came out that they put out Pokemon Yellow, which was the third version of that game.
Loved it.
Yeah.
You know what? One thing about me is I love when things are uniform and rational. So I loved that they had the yellow version because I'm like, oh, this makes sense. It like goes along with the show.
Yeah.
Do you know what the original intended mascot of the Pokemon franchise was supposed to be?
You know, I think I know this, but I can't remember right now. I've heard this trivia fact. I want to say it was like Clefairy or Jigglypuff or something.
Yes, you're exactly right. It was Clefairy.
Okay, yeah.
But they found in testing that it definitely resonated more with the female audience, so they wanted to make sure they got their 4 quadrants.
Yeah.
So then they decided on Pikachu because he was cute, which appealed to the females in their test group, and he looked like sporty and actiony enough that he like also tests well with the boys.
And it's interesting because Pikachu evolves into Raichu, but nobody remembers Raichu.
I remember my Raichu, but do you remember the episode where Ash and Pikachu are like consulting with each other about whether or not Ash should evolve him into Raichu?
One of the best episodes of the anime.
Great episode.
Yeah.
You know what I loved about it is it was not Ash's decision alone. He was really consulting with Pikachu and finding out that's something that he wanted to do. And ultimately, he made the best choice.
A great like early example of a non-toxic relationship to have, like a non-toxic friendship, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Where they were communicating with each other. It wasn't just about what Ash wanted or Pikachu wanted. Yeah,
exactly. I loved that. I really loved that about the anime. I have to say, I really feel like Pokemon taught me a lot of life lessons.
You know, it was a kid's show. Let's not like, we don't have to lift it up too high. But I think that for a kid's show, it was very like, had these great rock solid foundations of just like be good to the natural world and to other people around you. Like that was the basic tenet of the show, you know?
Listen, didn't I just name quite a few things that I thought were like formative and help me understand the world
absolutely.
in which we live in?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the show was like groundbreaking. Well, it was in many ways, but I'm not saying it was like
it was definitely culture shifting.
Yes.
In many ways. I think it was a lot of people's introduction to gaming, first of all. And I think it was also a lot of people's introduction to anime, as we've already discussed. So, yeah.
Okay, couple other things I want to mention.
Sure.
This was, for me, part of that craze era of, like, the latter half of the 90s.
Yeah.
Because for me, what I remember as, like, sort of phases or, like, timestamps or milestones during that point in time, there was, like, 3 major crazes that I feel like really kind of took over the world's attention. And they were Beanie Babies, Spice Girls, and then Pokemon. For me, that period of 96 to like 99 is like those were like the tenets of that time for me.
It's really wild that Pokemon has had the staying power that it has, because of those 3, by far, Pokemon is the most relevant. No offense to Spice Girls. Obviously, Spice Girls, very talented, made a lot of great music. However, they're not touring, you know, they're not making the music right now.
I agree with you.
I think that Pokemon has had the most staying power out of all of those 90s crazes. Did you know that Pokemon is actually the highest grossing franchise ever of any media of any kind?
I would have guessed that.
It's pretty wild.
They had everything.
They have games, they have films, they have TV shows, lots of merch.
So much merch. What about this? Do you remember the JCPenney holiday catalog? Or the Sears holiday catalog, Justin?
Yes, of course.
Those fucking thick-ass tombs that would be delivered to thine door on an idle Wednesday in October. You'd open it up and you'd see the life that you needed to be living. I loved that shit. I would thumb through it for hours and I would dog ear every page that had something I wanted, and I'd make my fucking wish list. My mom and dad always wanted me to make my wish list to Santa Claus.
This is bringing me back, yeah.
There was one, I want to find it. I'm going to have to like do a deep dive on eBay and see if I can find this catalog. There was a bedroom set that was fully Pokemon. Fully everything was Pokemon. The fucking phone was a Pikachu. I always wanted a corded phone in my room. I thought that was a highlight of luxury, the height of luxury. There was a Pokeball lamp for your bedside table. Of course, your Pikachu bedspread with the pillow shams.
Yes, gotta have the bedspread.
Oh, I wanted that shit so badly, Justin. I did not get it. That's okay. I'm not upset about it.
You moved on since then?
Yeah, I've moved on. I got past it. I got over it. But in hindsight, I'm so glad that my mom was like, we're not doing any of that shit in my house. We're going to make our house look cute. Because I feel like that really informed my design aesthetic growing up as an adult. And I'm glad for that.
That is an interesting point. I mean, I was fully stereotypical millennial child at that time. Like, I had the Barney bedspread that eventually evolved into the Pokemon bedspread. And I think after that, I had like a normal non-branded bedspread, which, you know. I
think I had Sesame Street and Barney. And then after that, my mom said, none more of this shit shall be had. She passed me an LL Bean catalog and said, pick out your flannel sheets and bedspread. Does that track for you, Justin? Does that make sense to you?
I don't remember any of my bedspread decisions after Pokemon, to be honest with you.
That's fine. That's fine. Did you have a race car bed?
No.
Yeah, me neither. My friend Danny had one.
Wasn't really a car kid, you know?
Oh, I loved Hot Wheels. That was like my first thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I
had
was
Hot Wheels, but I was never like a huge fan. I was more of an animal kid, which really dovetailed with Pokemon.
Oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah.
I think we discussed this one time on the pod, too. I was a dolphin kid. I had dolphin everything. I had an under-the-sea room. No under-the-sea bedspread. Just the walls were painted like it was a sea theme. Anyway.
Why don't we talk about like where Pokemon has come since those original games and the original anime series, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but I have played, and this is, I don't know, maybe this is embarrassing. I've played almost all of the mainline Pokemon games.
That's fine. I don't think that's embarrassing at all.
Except for like a couple during the college years, because obviously I was like doing other stuff around that time.
Yeah.
I really loved Gold and Silver, which were the second series of Game Boy games.
Which one did you have?
Silver.
I had Gold.
All the way.
Justin, this is so crazy. Like, I just like know you at a level that I knew you were blue and I knew you were silver.
It's the better version.
Did you know that I was red and gold?
It makes sense. I mean...
So you didn't know.
You're a fire sign, yeah?
Yes.
Isn't that like the whole thing? It's like a part of your
identity.
identity.
Yeah, but like, I didn't even really know that at that... I didn't even know that the Zodiac was a thing before that.
I just like cooler colors. And, you know, blue
it makes sense.
And silver are the cooler ones, you know? And I've stuck with that. Even down the line, like the next series was Ruby and Sapphire. I picked Sapphire.
Yeah. I think you're a true winter. Or maybe you're cool winter.
But yeah, it is a really fascinating study in, like, Pokemon is like a commercial product that sells many different kinds of products, right? From clothing to toys to Pokemon cards.
Yep.
And then they also have to make like a technical product, which is a video game, right?
Yeah.
And I think that like really the games have not actually evolved that much since Gold and Silver. I don't know if you played those Gold and Silver games. You said you had Gold, yeah.
Yeah, I had Gold.
So you played it, and you probably remember that like there was both the Johto region, which had the new Pokemon.
Yep.
And then you could also, after you beat those 8 gym leaders, go back to Kanto. And beat those gym leaders. That never happened again. And I think it's because the Pokemon Company and Nintendo, more so the Pokemon Company. So for those who aren't aware, the Pokemon Company is like a distinct entity from Nintendo that owns all the IP rights for stuff like merchandise for Pokemon and stuff like that.
Imagine how rich.
Even though Nintendo publishes the games, they don't manage the actual IP when it comes to stuff like merch. So the Pokemon Company is constantly on these game developers to make basically a brand new set of Pokemon, meaning like the characters, the creatures, every 2 years or so. Game Freak, the game company that designs Pokemon, they have been churning out, ever since Ruby and Sapphire, they've been churning out a brand new set of Pokemon every 2 years.
Wild. That's a massive undertaking.
They also have to come up with like a video game, a brand new video game every 2 years, which in this marketplace of games where like graphics have gotten more intense, you know, handheld consoles that are dedicated handheld consoles don't even exist anymore. It's just the Switch, right? And the Switch has like full featured 3D graphics, to a level that is like so hilariously high definition compared to like the original Game Boy.
Oh God, yeah.
So now Game Freak is charged with making these like AAA super high graphics games every 2 years, and not just with 151 Pokemon, but with like 1,000 Pokemon, because I have to include all of these ones. Pokemon. Yeah, because the whole thing is you got to catch them all.
What is a great tagline, by the way, just from a marketing standpoint. It really encapsulates like the mission of the game and gives you like an action-oriented disposition at which you look through the whole series and franchise.
Yes, it's a great tagline. But it has left Game Freak in this really difficult position where they're basically forced to put out these compromised products every 2 years. The latest game, for example, they tried to make it open world because that's like
it's a new thing.
It's People the demand in the field. But in terms of like technical performance, pretty bad.
Have you played it?
Yeah, I've played it. Brandy and I, for the last couple of Pokemon games, we both got one of the versions and we play it like together.
That's cute.
I haven't beaten either of them. Like I haven't beaten all the gym leaders in either of the 2 most recent games, but I just like to see the character designs for the new Pokemon. And I think that's actually the magic sauce of Pokemon.
Yeah.
Is the designs. Because I don't know how they managed to do it, but every single game, there's like at least like 3 or 4 new Pokemon that are like Hello Kitty level cute, iconic design choices. And they managed to do it with such consistency. I think that's really the magic sauce. Like other monster collectors are not as good at the design. That
is what I was going to say, because you were talking about how they have to do this every couple of years and that the game has not really changed all that much from the original ethos of what Red and Blue were. But I was going to say, but the reason there's demand is because they do such a great job anthropomorphizing these monster characters that people like fall in love with them and are like enamored by them.
Every time that a new Pokemon game comes out, despite myself, like I am a grown man, I'm like, okay, gotta look at what the new Pokemon designs are. And there's always a couple of them where I'm like, damn, I would die for this one. Like, I would die for this guy right here.
Okay, tell me 2 of the most recent batch of Pokemon are like your standouts, your faves. And then tell me who your overall fave is in the Pokeverse, if you will.
Okay, so are you familiar with Wooper? This is an older one. This isn't my choice yet.
No, I don't know him.
Okay, Wooper.
I'm going to look it up right now.
Is like a blue axolotl-like Pokemon.
Oh, wait, yes, I know who that is.
So Wooper, very cute. In the new game, there is a new Pokemon called Clodsire, which is like a new evolution of Wooper.
Clodsire?
Yes.
Oh my god, he looks like a mudfish.
Yeah, he's a lungfish, basically. So it's like this new evolution of Wooper who's just so silly and stupid looking that I can't help but feel he's just a great little guy.
Yeah, he's really cute.
He's cute.
Oh, he's poison type. Poison ground. What about Quagsire? I like him.
Quagsire was the original evolution. Yeah,
I like that.
I think that Clodsire is like
he's cute.
A natural progression from the Quagsire energy. Because Quagsire is very just like unaware seeming. He's got those 2 little tiny pinprick eyes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, he's like derpy looking.
Yeah, very derpy. And Clodsire is in the same vein. Another recent one is Tinkaton.
Tinkaton.
Yes. Tinkaton is this. They added a new type to some of the more recent Pokemon games called the Fairy type. And Tinkaton is a Fairy Steel type, and she is just like this really cute, basically just like this little girl with a ponytail, and she carries around this massive hammer that's like 3 times her size. And
that is really funny.
That's another one that I really like from the more recent games.
I feel like this would lend itself extremely well to the animated series.
Yeah, she has a lot of personality. You know?
Yeah, like you can tell just from the character design, she's got a big personality and she is very cute, but she looks also extremely dangerous.
Yes.
I can just picture her like smashing Team Rocket up and them like screaming.
She has like this move in the game called Gigaton Hammer, where it's like every time she hits something with her hammer, there's like a mushroom cloud that comes out. It's extremely funny because she's like so tiny and so cute. And then she just goes like and like destroys the other Pokemon with this mushroom cloud. It's a very funny like juxtaposition. So those are my two of my favorites from the most recent game. My favorite of all time, and I was thinking about this because I knew we were going to probably talk about this, I think is Ampharos. Do you remember this Pokemon? He's from the Gold and Silver era. Let me send you a link.
I do not remember him.
So do you remember Mareep, the sheep, the electric sheep
Yes,
Pokemon?
I do. Yep.
So Ampharos is the fully evolved form.
Oh. I remember them.
And Ampharos is really interesting because Mareep just looks like a sheep, basically.
Yeah.
And the idea is like, I guess there's static in the fur or whatever. Ampharos does not look like a sheep at all. Doesn't have any like wool. It's a great example of like the evolution concept where it's like you start as one thing and you become something completely different. He's almost like this mythical creature. Like he has evolved out of his sheep phase, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, he's totally transformed from his initial version, which was just a sheep.
Now, how come sometimes he's got like this really big white hair and tail, and other times none?
So
What's that about?
the base form of Ampharos doesn't have any hair at all. But there was a mechanic in one of the newer games called Mega Evolution, which sounds very Digimon.
I was just going to say that.
And basically, there are these items that allow you to take these fully evolved Pokemon and like make a superpowered version of them, like go Super Saiyan to throw it back to Dragon Ball.
Super Saiyan.
Yeah. So Ampharos' Mega Evolution is this guy with like a mane of hair. So it kind of brings a little bit more of that Mareep energy back into it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Mega Ampharos.
Yep.
Cute.
So what's your favorite Pokemon?
I mean, I already kind of said, but Mew. Mew is my favorite. I always have been like enamored and drawn to the psychic type Pokemon.
They were the most mysterious in the original, like the red and blue.
And that's what I love. No one understood where their power came from. I love Mew because she's so cute. And Mew is a girl.
She's like a cat fetus.
Yeah, she's like a little baby kitty.
Uh-huh.
I love it. So that's why I like Mew. Some other notables that I enjoy. I love Jinx.
You love Jinx.
I love Jinx.
Even despite the whole, are you familiar with this whole racist controversy with Jinx?
I sure am.
Okay.
And here's what I have to say about Jinx. I am a Jinx design apologist. I do think that it looks like blackface, but I do fully think that it was an unintended consequence of the design in Japan. I do not think that it has like racist origins. Jinx is actually supposed to be like a take on...
I have heard of this. It's like basically...
It's like a Japanese folk tale about like an ice mountain witch. And it's like basically a design on this. And it was like a popular character in a lot of Japanese opera, which explains like the opera gloves and aesthetic of Jinx's outfit.
Like many Pokemon, I think it's a mashup of two things. The first thing is that ice witch that you're mentioning. And the second thing, it was like a style of makeup that was popular at the time where the first Pokemon games came out. The Japanese women would dress up as
Yamauba, the Japanese mountain witch. That also like inspired her design, and also part of why she's an ice Pokemon, because like this was
Mountains.
Like an icy mountain witch.
And then it mashed that up with the style of Ganguro, which was like a Japanese style of makeup characterized by like a lot of fake tanner and like a lot of makeup.
Fake tan.
Yeah.
Regardless of all of that, the accusations of racism, I love Jinx because she is like goofy and also reminds me of like Mr. Mime in like the campiness of the design.
Yeah.
And like the movements and like the hypnotic dance that she does. I love that. I think it's so funny.
There's some really weird Pokemon from the newer games. Let me show you this one. There's this Pokemon called Bruxish. I'm going to send you this.
Bruxish?
Yes.
Isn't that when you grind your teeth? Oh, waka waka point for me. Oh, I don't think I like that one. It looks mean.
This is like famously one of the ugliest Pokemon.
Oh my god, wait, it literally says it grinds his teeth with great force to simulate its brain.
I think that's the reason why it's named that.
Bruxism, that's why I was saying, okay, wow, that's so funny.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't like that Pokemon. It looks mean, and it doesn't really fit in with the aesthetic of the rest of the series, I don't think.
Yeah.
Kind of is a standout in a poor way.
There's always some misses, but I do think people who criticize the new Pokemon forget that there was literally a Pokemon called Seal in the first game.
Oh, he was a derpy little brown seal, right?
No, he was ice type, I think. He was literally just like a seal. And his name was Seal. Seel.
Oh, you know what one of my other favorites was? Dugong. I love Dugong.
That's the evolution of Seal, yeah.
Lorelei was my favorite gym coach in the original.
Ooh, you want to know my favorite from the first generation?
Yeah, I do.
Dragonair.
Dragonair, that's a good one.
Dragonair, such a banger. And then Dragonair evolves into Dragonite, which I do love the difference between Dragonair and Dragonite, but Dragonair just has the aesthetic that I want, you know?
Okay, this also always got me. How about this? I wonder if this like will resonate with you. I loved when I would like see the Pokemon in the games, or like you ever buy those like guidebooks that show you like the Pokemon. And it has like all their stats, like their type, their weaknesses, their signature moves, their evolution chart. I love to like see them in those books and then watch them on the series. And sometimes they were completely different sizes than I imagined.
Yeah.
Completely different. Like I seem to remember Dragonair was actually huge, but it always looks like a demure tiny little thing.
Yeah, it's like pretty big. Yeah, 13 feet, damn.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. And I always loved seeing it in the anime because then I'd be like, oh my god, that is so much larger or smaller than I thought it was.
All right, well, I think we've had a great discussion of Pokemon and our favorites.
We could talk about it for days, honestly. There's so much to cover.
We could keep talking about it, yeah.
But we do need to get to something else. And that's what's good.
So let's take a quick break, and I'll be right back with our What's Goods.
And we're back.
We are back.
Well, what a scintillating conversation.
I know. Making me want to go to the store to Citadel and grab.
Does it make you want to Pokemon Go to the store?
Boo.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. I want to Pokemon Go to eBay and find some of these older games. I kind of want to get into that again. That was kind of fun. You know what we didn't talk about? We don't have to do it now since we're like moved on to a new subject, but maybe another time we should talk about some of the spin-off games of Pokemon. Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Pinball, Pokemon Stadium.
Pinball. That's what I'm saying. Like it is such a massive franchise.
It knows no bounds.
It's wild. Yeah.
Limit does not exist. Well, Justin, we did have such a wonderful conversation about Pokemon. And as mentioned, we could talk for days about it. But it's time for me to ask you a little question. And that is, what's good?
Well, Geoff, I had a lot to choose from this week. I've been enjoying a lot of things. I've seen some films, as we've discussed earlier. Mm-hmm. But I decided we should add a couple more songs to our What's Good Spotify playlist.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, baby. Let's hear about it.
So I'm going to share a and B side single from an artist called Bank, which is spelled Bayynk.
Okay.
I missed this release from last month, so it actually came out in July. The two singles are called Grin and Mr. Joko. Bank, I would say, is like a indie dance artist. His music is danceable, but it's not really like super hard.
Oh, wait. I saw the music video for Grin.
Really?
Yes.
That's a coincidence. But yeah, he put out these two new singles. They're the third set of two singles that he's released from his upcoming album called Senescence.
Nope, I'm sorry. It was not Grin, it was Feel. Feel is the music video that I saw.
Feel was one of the previous releases.
Apologies,
also
a good
song. He, a few years ago, put out an album called Adolescence, which I really enjoyed. So I was surprised that I missed these newer singles. Quick description of both of these songs. Grin is kind of a straightforward, like little funky dance number.
Mm-hmm.
Kicks off with just a 4 on the floor house kick with this excellent bass line. And I don't know about you, but sometimes all I need is drums and a bass line, and I'm like, put this on loop. This is just the vibe. When the lyrics come on, the lyrics are pretty straightforward, but they're just about watching somebody you're interested in dancing and grinning, which I think is like very like straight guy coded. If you're DJing or if you're like at a dance party and you see you're like a woman that you're interested in dancing, maybe you're not like going up and dancing with them, but you're like enjoying how much fun they're having and you're grinning, like having fun watching them. So that's the first song. The second song, Mr. Joko, I think is actually like my favorite of the two. This one, and I'm a huge sucker for songs that sample like children talking or singing, because I feel like it brings the sense of like innocence and joy that is lacking in like adult life a lot of times, and it brings back this sense of nostalgia without having to like draw on a specific influence, right? It just makes you feel like you're younger. So it has this vocal sample where it samples children talking, and they're talking about, I assume it's like their teacher, Mr. Joko, and they're just talking about how he's like a great dude. At the same time, there are these piano chords that just feel like very happy and summertime vibes. You'll hear, I'll play a clip right now. this is just a very fun, summery kind of dance song that I've been vibing with.
That was great.
If that sounds like something you're interested in, check out the release that he put out. These 2 singles on are called Senescence 5 and 6, and the songs are called Grin and Mr. Joko. Geoff?
Yes.
I was surprised to hear that you have also listened to a Bank song, Feel, which I also like that song as well. But what else is good with you this week?
I'm cool. I'm hip. Well, I don't want to do too many songs from this album because we will be delving into it, I believe, next week.
Yes, we will. We will.
But I just want to give a quick plug to my girl, Sabrina Carpenter, because she has put out her album, Short and Sweet. Her Short and Sweet tour is coming to a arena near you this fall. But one of the songs that I really, really enjoying from Short and Sweet, Bed Chem.
I was in a sheer dress the day that we met. We were both in a rush. We talked for a second.
This is so funny. Go ahead.
What? Tell me.
No. Go. You give your say, why is it good?
What I love about this song is that I love the chord progression. I really enjoy the lyrics. They're very sensual, and she's fully telling like a story from like start to end in this song. And it's giving like 90s R&B. In fact, I immediately texted our group chat and our friend Ben, who we went and saw that movie with, on the side and was like, this would blend perfectly with one of my favorite songs. So really, I'm giving 2 plugs right now. 2 more songs for our playlist, Justin. A song called Into You by Tamia, which came out in 1996, I want to say, or 97. It's a great R&B track. It's got everything you want, like a booming bass line, a wonderful electric piano riff. It's got the chimes in the background, which I always love. I'm a sucker for chimes in a song. I'm really vibing with it. So I'm going to plug Bed Chem, and I'm going to plug Into You by Tamia. And I hope that when Sabrina Carpenter performs that song live, she does at least one time incorporate the lyrics of Into You and that little riff into the performance. I think it would be great. If I were a musical director, that would be my first recommendation for her.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this album in depth next week, which we will definitely do. We've been hyping up this album release for, I guess, a couple months now. Yeah, it's funny that this was one of your faves from the album, if not your favorite from the album, because this one was not vibing.
I know, which I love. I can't wait to debate you about it next week.
Yeah, we'll talk more about it next week, but I'll leave it at that for now.
Let's Sabatra.
Well, that's it for Bants this week. Another great episode. And
listeners, as always, I'd like to thank you for your time. Thank you for lending us your ear holes and letting us whisper right into them. Oh, I know you love it.
Until next week.
Bye. This has been Bants with Geoff and Justin. Bants is created and produced by me, Geoff Taylor, and Justin Benavidez. Graphic design by Geoff Taylor and editing by Justin Benavidez. The theme music for Bants is the track Time With You by Talif featuring Rule, that's spelled RVLE, and is provided by No Copyright Sounds. Email us at bantspod@gmail.com with questions, recommendations, or just to say hi. If you like the podcast, rate and review us on Apple or Spotify and tell your friends. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at BantsPod. Bye!
Bye!
Oh, and attack your master!
What are you doing? Stop and
See, I controlled Victory Bell.
That don't prove nothing. Victory Bell always attacks James that way.